Good evening, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend,
And I'm James, your black friend,
and this is the Fat and Black Connection.
where we talk about anything and everything. Well, as long as it's interesting to us.
Absolutely, because if it's not interesting to us, then why are we talking about it? So, of course, this is a live and interactive broadcast. It is September 19th, 2022, 8:03 p.m. Pacific,
Yep.
the only time zone that matters,
Yep.
the center of the world.
Yep.
So, James, what does live interactive broadcast mean?
That means wherever we are going live right now, which includes Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Daily Motion, all those places. If you watching on there, go ahead and drop a comment in there. We gonna bring it up, most likely. And sometimes not so much lately, but in the past, it's actually changed the whole direction of a show.
It can do that. Hey, I mean, Tyrus was commenting just a couple episodes ago.
Oh,
We
that's
brought
right.
him in.
That's right. We did do that. I forgot about that. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes fatter and blacker, right?
Indeed. That's when we go from fat and black to fatter and blacker. So, man, how have you been?
It's been a week. Finished my so I finished my post academy training last Friday, and then I had my first 2 days. I just finished my second day of OJT, which is on the job training for my phase 2.
So you did work this morning from 4 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. to noon?
Yep.
And then I'm guessing you took a little nappy poo?
Actually, I kind of dozed off, but not really. I didn't really take a nap.
Oh, great. So this is going to be a terrible episode. Okay.
No, I'm up, man. No, I'm good.
Well, I'm thirsty, so I'm
Okay.
gonna have me a little hard seltzer again tonight.
Okay.
I got to get through them. I'm close. I told you I'm not allowed to buy anything else until I finish everything I have in my fridge. So
right. Did you finish the other ones?
no, I've still got a lot of stuff to get through. So I've got to get through this. I'm gonna make it through.
Hey, you got to.
I said I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this. Okay,
gonna make it through.
I don't want to get a copyright cease and desist.
Right.
So James, it's been a week, and let me tell you. So I don't know what has happened, but in the last couple days, last 4 or 5 days or so,
Mhm.
my kid has decided that for whatever reason, she doesn't want to be alone. So when it's bedtime, um, she's having a really hard time, and so
How old is she now?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Well, no, because I know it's not the first time I've heard about this. I've heard like
no, and this is a thing. So what happens is
Yeah.
when they get to a certain age, they start developing their imagination a lot more,
Right.
and also dreams start affecting a lot more. And so that's kind of, I think, what's going on is she probably had a bad dream, and she doesn't want to go to sleep because she doesn't want to have another bad dream. Or, I mean, I can remember when I was really little. I can very vividly remember having a nightmare about spiders, and I woke up, and I swear to you, I swear I saw spiders crawling all around my bed.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't true. It didn't actually happen. But to this day, I absolutely hate spiders.
No, I mean, I'm not a fan of spiders either. But like when I was younger, like I could not sleep with the door closed.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going on, and that's been killing me. I haven't been getting good sleep. My wife has not been getting good sleep. She's had to actually sleep in there a couple of nights.
And that bed's not really, that's not a big bed.
Oh no, my wife is sleeping on the floor.
Oh.
Yeah,
Goodness.
and
Yikes.
because the bed is very small.
Yeah.
And yeah, so going back to what I'm drinking really quickly, I wanted to let you know, this is 12 fluid ounces, and it's 5% alcohol by volume.
Shut up. A huge amount of it's so you have to be, of course, be 21 to buy it. It's 5% alcohol by volume, but at the same time, it's also only 12-ounce can. So I mean, 5 ounces inside a 12-ounce can, not too bad. Hey.
So James, I that was from a previous episode, obviously.
Yeah.
5% alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you think that means there's
No.
5
No.
shots in this?
No. I misspoke. So yeah. No. When I said it, I misspoke, and I didn't even think about it until I saw that post this morning or yesterday or whenever that was posted.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Well,
didn't even think about it until that point in time. Like I was just talking, and then when that I was like, oh, that's not right.
so I'm just curious because I really need to know. What do you believe 5% alcohol by volume means?
Uh, I don't really even know. I'm just saying I don't think it's not a lot. I know that for sure. It's not like 5 shots in there. So, but it's it's a very small amount of alcohol, but still makes it delicious.
So basically, for every ounce of fluid in this can, 5% of that ounce is
Is
alcohol.
alcohol.
Yes. So if it was 12 ounces, do you have any idea roughly how much that would equate to?
You're gonna try and make me do math right now?
Well, you've had time. I mean, obviously, you saw the post, and I have to think you knew I would bring this up.
Oh, I should have known, but no, I'm not. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Okay, so in this
Me
entire
and math
can,
aren't good. Me and math are not good.
there are 6/10 of an ounce. 6/10 of an ounce of alcohol.
Okay, so
So very little actual alcohol.
right, but still delicious.
Yes, but I wanted to make sure for those of you watching or listening around the world that have enjoyed our shows in the past, um, this is not an uncommon thing with James.
No,
Um,
me
and
and numbers. I'll throw out numbers and they can be told they'll be totally wrong.
Oh, absolutely. And I did take that video and I also posted it to the Newark Memorial High School page to say, here's a product of
Wow.
an alumni product of Newark Memorial.
Well,
So
the problem is that I don't do, and that's the problem is that I didn't do math well in high school. I mean, so
at least you said well instead of good. So that means
yeah. Well,
you're,
oh, I didn't do math good. That sounds horrible.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, I wouldn't. Oh, yikes.
at least your English and grammar is okay.
Yeah, at least.
Sometimes.
No, it has moments. Trust me.
Yes, we've done that as well. So, moving on. So, like I said, it's been a rough couple days, man. With my kid not
Wait, is she
sleeping.
waking up in the middle of the night too?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
oh
dang.
yeah, yeah. No,
Nice.
last night I was up. She woke me up 3 times. 2 times I had to actually go in there to like try and soothe her.
Yeah,
Um, and
please.
yes, luckily, it was only the 3 times, but it's been rough and it's been very hard because especially today being a Monday, having that happen last night, going into work,
Right.
and work has been very frustrating as well. I'm dealing with a situation with a supervisor who's just very um, should not be in leadership, and
We all know those people.
yeah, and for me as a guy that I very much
You've been
consider
in,
myself a leader.
yeah, you've been in
um,
leadership and everything else. So yeah.
for me, it's that much harder when you're working for someone that's supposed to be a leader and clearly does not have that skill set. And so it's just been a rough.
It's not for everybody.
No, it really isn't. And I think some people think that it's just the next logical progression to move into a leadership role, and it's
No, sometimes it
maybe,
isn't.
yeah, yeah. I
Sometimes,
mean,
like you can think that, oh yeah, like this is where I'm supposed to go next, but no, not necessarily.
well, no, and it's if I'm frank, it's like you are a really good trainer. I've watched you, I've worked with you. You train people extremely well, but I don't ever think you should be the guy in charge. No offense.
No,
I
and
I, I think
when I was even when I was a manager, I wasn't like actually fully in charge. Like I was like there was somebody above me that I had to answer to. So
And well, and that was that was at a casino, so you got to have a lot of fun, and it was mostly like shaking hands, kissing babies.
that's
Uh,
true. And
where
I'm really good at that stuff.
you are, and like I said, I'll give credit where it's due. You were an amazing server. You were, uh, probably one of the best servers that I worked with. And later on in today's episode, we'll be talking about good and bad service. So stick around for that. But yeah, so just a lot of stuff going on, and we had a really busy last week. We've discussed on this show before that you boys here are getting involved in helping out 97
Yeah.
productions. They've
Yeah.
gotten involved with a show called Radio Story Hour, and
Stop invoking the name.
seriously, so they've gotten involved with a show called Radio Story Hour, and we've been asked to kind of help because I and you have some experience with directing and executive producing Murphy's Inc., for example. And
Yeah.
so it's oh no,
Trust me, when we get music and everything for Radio Story Hour, that'll probably
yeah, I'm sure.
that'll probably
So
pop in there every once in a while too.
this is the current. I think it's kind of like a placeholder logo for Radio Story Hour. Obviously you can see the name, and it's like a old radio dial, and
Yep.
KNVC, Diaz Media Group, and 97 to Now are the main production companies on this one.
Yep.
And so this last week were auditions.
Yeah.
There were auditions Tuesday night, Thursday night, Saturday afternoon, and callbacks on Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
And it was long. It was 3-hour sessions each time, and but coming out on the other side, obviously we can't divulge casting or anything yet. We've made some offers. We're waiting for some people to accept those offers.
See,
But how did you feel? I mean, this was your first time from a podcast kind of perspective being truly involved with the audition and casting process.
yeah, no, I mean it was a little bit of a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. Being the first one that I mean, I've dealt with casting before, but that was for like for stage plays. So I actually saw the people, and so I saw them. I saw their dancing abilities, singing abilities, acting abilities. I kind of was able to kind of pull all that together and make a selection that way. This one, I'm literally going off of voices. I can ask for for certain things from them, and if they deliver, cool. That's all I have to go off of. So it's a little bit, it's interesting, but at the end of the day, I'm satisfied with what we got. I'm satisfied with the decisions that were made on my end, and I would assume that you and Scott and Kathy are excited about their casting as well. So
Well, and speaking of Scott and Kathy and me, well, we've got 3 shows that we were working on casting for.
yep.
Captain Fearless and the Time Traveling Nazis of Doom, which actually this has changed since the last time we talked. I'm actually directing this one.
Yes, you are now.
And then from the Jack R. Abbott Files, Murder by Garlic, and that'll be you directing.
That hasn't changed.
That has not changed. And then Prince Kenneth and the Ill-Fated Forest, which is now being co-directed by Kathy Hampton and Scott Young.
And that is recent changes.
Yes. So changes can be a good thing. I'm definitely happy. I love.
I think actually, honestly, I think Captain Fearless is more up your alley, anyways.
Oh, being one of the producers on the show, I was involved from before the auditions and stuff, and so I had the opportunity to read the scripts a couple of weeks before auditions. And and I would say the Captain Fearless probably was my favorite out of the three if I was thinking about it from an actor standpoint.
Mhm.
And thinking about it from a director standpoint, it was probably my number one as well. But just with the way things had happened originally, um, originally I was on Prince Kenneth in the Ill-Fated Forest, which I think I would have done a great job, but um, we had to make some changes, and I'm exceedingly happy about where I'm at now. So
Yeah, and I mean, like, the thing was, like, Murder by Garlic, it didn't catch me, like, right away, like, but and so, like, I read Prince Kenneth, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, this is pretty good," and then, like, I kinda went back into Murder by Garlic, and I was like, "Oh, never mind. This is good. I like this."
yeah.
So, yeah.
So from a casting perspective, we've sent offer letters to pretty much everyone that we want in the show in the parts we want them in, and we've gotten a lot of response. We've we've
Yeah,
we've
as of
gotten a
this
lot of people.
afternoon, I think as this of rewind. As of this afternoon, I think pretty much we've gotten responses from most people. I think my show is the one that has. I'm waiting on the most people to respond back, but
Well, yeah, and you're still waiting on your lead.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not stressful at all.
no, not at all.
So as the main guy running the casting and the auditions, I'll be sending out an email, follow-up email after we're done here tonight to say, "Hey, please don't forget to let us know if you want to accept." Because
Hey, let us know.
yeah, so overall, you would say fun process. You
Yeah, the only thing that uh, I guess I was a little bit more surprised by, not I wasn't really I can't say disappointed by, but I was more surprised that we had a good number of people sign and we had a good turnout, don't get me wrong, but there was like a couple times, like especially like on our first day when like our first auditions, we had two of the four people that were signed up for that hour show up. So I mean it was like yikes. Um
yeah, it
but
was it was
I,
so we had 41. I'm sorry. Yeah, we had 41 people sign up to audition, and we only ended up having 35 actually show up to audition.
so not a huge drop off, but hmm.
Still, a decent enough drop off that it
It did
was.
it did it did hamper us a little bit.
Yeah, and we had some people that had valid reasons. They had family
Oh yeah.
emergencies,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. No.
we absolutely get life happens.
Mhm.
And we had other people who just no showed.
Yeah. Just poop.
Yeah, so bear in mind we keep these lists and we remember. So yeah, so
Actually, we hear you.
if you show up to audition,
Yeah. Yeah, right. If you actually show up. And that was like, but that's just like in any sort of that's just like any sort of theater too. I mean, you've been at auditions and you'll see the same people over and over again. And then like there's that one time. And so like if for some reason they can't get to an audition, then you like, oh, something must have happened. Like if they planned on auditioning. But like there's certain people, like you'll see their name on the list and you're like, oh, are they actually going to show up this time? Because they'll
mhm,
they'll say they're audition and then they never show up, and it's like, oh, why do you keep putting in that you're gonna be here if you're not gonna show up?
yeah, don't waste my time. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, why even? Because that I mean, like those lists aren't. I mean, some of them for some of the shows, it's those audition forms are not small.
Yeah, I will say I think one of the things I was really surprised by was, I put the call out to our Murphy's Inc. team and said, "Hey, if anybody's interested." We didn't have that many people from Murphy's Inc. actually audition. We had a few, but not
Yeah,
as
yeah,
many as I actually would have thought, and that's okay. Maybe they've got other things going on in life and
yeah.
other
Not a
projects.
problem. Not a
Yeah,
problem.
but definitely, I'm happy with the turnout. I
Yeah,
think we were able to cast. It's not like
yeah,
I felt like we needed to make phone calls to bring in other people or something. So that's always a good sign.
yeah.
And switching gears a little bit, so talking about bad signs. So I don't know if you heard about this or saw this, but the people over at Rockstar Games, they got rocked.
Their world got rocked. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So for those of you who don't know, Rockstar Gaming, they've come out with many fantastic games. Red Dead Redemption series, The
And
Crew.
probably their biggest and best known for Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, way to just jump right to that instead of listing anything else like Watch Dogs or Tom
No,
Clancy stuff.
because I don't really play any of that other stuff.
Oh yeah, because neither of those are them. So I
Yeah, I was
was
about to.
kind of seeing if you were paying attention. But so yes, of course, Grand Theft Auto is the big one. And just in case, here's an interesting fact that I don't know if you know. Grand Theft Auto 5 is the single highest grossing piece of media in history.
Really?
Grand Theft Auto 5 has made over $6 billion.
Jeez, what?
Yes, that's almost 3 times more than Avengers Endgame.
Yikes.
So,
yikes.
Yeah. So obviously Rockstar is known for their games. All of their games. They're known for secrecy. They're known for taking their time. They'll announce a game and it's out within weeks because they wait. They don't want to give advanced screenings of what the game might look like. They're really known for their secrecy, and they're known for the attention to detail.
Yeah, literally, you will not hear about it. I mean, you might hear about it, but you will not see anything from it until like the trailer is pretty much released.
And usually those trailers are just literally a few weeks before they drop.
Yeah.
And so the rumors have been going around for months that we were going to hear about GTA 6 getting announced, and that it would likely release before the end of this year, going into the Christmas spectacular season. But I'm thinking with where we are now, we're middle of September and we still hadn't gotten a trailer. We hadn't even gotten a tease of what the logo might look like. I was starting to think, okay, it's probably not going to happen until next year. Well, now Rockstar got hacked on Sunday by evidently a 16-year-old.
Yo, come on, bro.
who claims who posted tons of images, and claims to have the source code for the game. And for those of you that don't know gaming very well, source code basically means if you have that, you can do anything you want to the game. You can modify it.
Yeah.
And he basically was posting, and he's disappeared. He posted all this stuff, and now he's disappeared because one of the things he posted was, in essence, blackmailing Rockstar by saying, "Hey, contact me. Let's make a deal because I've got more."
He's dead. I'm just kidding.
Well, so here's the other thing. There have been a ton of things that have come out in recent months where people are claiming, here's this leaked image, or here's this leaked footage, or whatever, and it's been garbage. And the way that we know that this one is true is because Rockstar themselves came out with this.
Yeah.
And I'll just go ahead and read it for those that are just listening. A message from Rockstar Games. We recently suffered a network intrusion in which an unauthorized third party illegally accessed and downloaded confidential information from our systems, including early development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto. At this time, we do not anticipate any disruption to our live game services, nor any long-term effect on the development of our ongoing projects. We are extremely disappointed to have any details of our next game shared with you all in this way. Our work on the next Grand Theft Auto game will continue as planned, and we remain as committed as ever to delivering an experience to you, our players, that truly exceeds your expectations. We will update everyone again soon, and, of course, we'll properly introduce you to this next game when it's ready. We want to thank everyone for their ongoing support through the situation.
Yeah. Soon.
Well, and so I have to imagine now because of this, they're gonna have to announce it. They're gonna have
Yeah.
to come out in the next, maybe even this week, uh, to say, boom, here's a trailer, here's the title, here's whatever. Um,
Very
because
true.
now that the information is out there, and they've admitted that yes, this is real, this is legit.
So real quick, so like the stuff that's already out there, were they able to like pull it?
I mean, from the places that they can, you won't find
Yeah,
it on YouTube. You won't find it on a lot of different places. But
right.
if you really want to find it, you can find it.
Yeah, but I don't really need to go looking for it.
Yeah, and uh, there's a guy that I like to listen to on YouTube who talks about Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, and it's Mr. Boss FTW, Mr. Boss for the win. Um, and he does some really good videos, and he watched everything, but he didn't show anything. He just talked about what he saw. He didn't, do spoilery stuff. He just gave some of the details, and I it was about a 10-minute video, and I watched or listened to it, and um, I felt like there wasn't anything there that was like disappointing to hear about, but to the same extent, because of how good of a job Rockstar generally does with keeping stuff under wraps, it almost does kind of lose a little bit of the mystique, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, moving on. Speaking of mystique, we were talking last episode about Disney and D23 and so many announcements and all of that kind of stuff.
See.
And something that was announced after our last episode,
Yeah.
we got a couple things actually, but one of them is that for those of you who have never been, California Adventure is the companion park to Disneyland, and
Yo.
it's its own place. And the original concept of California Adventure was within this park, you could get a feel for all of California.
Yeah.
You could go to a pier and ride on some rides, like in San Diego, or you could go to the Napa area and maybe have some wine.
Yep.
There was the Hollywood Backlot Studio area,
Yep.
and then of course there was the San Francisco like Fisherman's Wharf area.
Yep.
And there's never really been much over there. There's food, beer. There's the Gear Deli ice cream shop. There's the Boudin sourdough bread bakery.
That's dope too.
Yes, but in regards to there's no rides. There's
Nah.
no major attractions, if you will.
Nah.
And that's okay. I think that area is a nice area to go relax, hang out. I mean, you and I, when we were there last year, we went and sat down, had some beers, and
Yep.
and had some nice conversation and whatnot. But they have decided they're going to give that area a facelift, and they're going to turn it into San Francisco.
I'm about that life. I like that.
Yeah,
Big Hero 6 gets like no love.
Well, you can't say that anymore.
I know. I'm saying, but like this is like that's what I'm saying. The reason I said that is because I feel like I'm glad that Big Hero 6 is getting some love.
Yeah, and evidently you'll be in San Francisco. You'll be able to see Baymax and Hero, and
Nice.
it doesn't sound like anything else is necessarily changing. It still sounds like it's going to be shopping, restaurants.
I mean, all you gotta do is just kind of hang up some lanterns like it looks like in the picture, and and give us that little bridge thing. Give us the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't look like, obviously the facade is all going to remain the same. They're just adding some Japanese accents, and then of course they're going to change the bridge to kind of look like the San Francisco Bridge.
Yeah.
Which I think I get it. One of the things that Disney is trying to do a lot more is use their IPs and in a way that works, and this works. It makes sense.
Certainly does.
There are some things that I've been sad to see them do, some changes that I haven't always agreed with, but this is what I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate. It's I have no complaints.
No, this works for me. I'm actually, when I saw that picture, I was like, oh, I like it.
Yeah, and a quick reminder for everybody out there that's for the millions that are watching and listening around the world. This is a live and interactive show, so please feel free to comment if you have thoughts or opinions. We will take them into account. We may not care, but we'll take them into account. So obviously, this is concept art. It could change, but I like it.
I hope it stays at least something like this.
Yeah. So this next one, I'm really interested in what it will actually be. But this is going to be we talked about it a little bit, the new ride that's going to be happening in the Avengers campus. And the way it is described is that this will be a multiverse adventure where you will be joining alongside with the Avengers to take on uh, King Thanos.
King Thanos.
And the ride vehicle kind of appears to be like a modification, maybe, of like the Indiana Jones car.
Yeah, it looks more sporty.
Yeah. So I originally they had made it seem like it might be in line with the flight.
The Quinjet.
Yeah. So the original concept was that we had been told was that it was going to be you're in a Quinjet, you're going to fly alongside, the team and go into Wakanda for a battle. And we do got Mike Marshall checking in. How many years until California Adventure becomes Pixar Adventure? It is pretty close to already there. It's at this point it's Pixar and Marvel.
Because they got the Cars Land, and then now it's Pixar Pier, right?
Mm-hmm. And the new hotel, or not the new hotel, but Paradise Pier is. I'm sorry, not Paradise Pier. What is the hotel called?
The Grand Californian?
No, the other one. Paradise.
I don't know.
Pleasure Island. I don't know. No. But it is being rethemed to Pixar. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't disagree with you, Mike. I think that ultimately, yes, the entire park is more or less going to be Marvel and Pixar. And Mike chiming back in, basically the Rapids, Soaring, and the studios is basically all that's left. And the studios, it sounds like, is going to get probably turned into a Marvel expansion. So
yeah,
that'll be gone. So really all you'll have left is Rapids and Soarin'. And I could see them retheming Soarin' to be planes, which
I don't know. I mean, Planes isn't Pixar, or Planes. That's not Pixar. That was Planes is just Disney Animation. It's not Pixar.
Is it?
Yeah, it says from the world of Cars, but it's not Pixar.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess maybe you're right. It feels like a Pixar film.
No, I mean, because Brian just chimed in. Planes is not Pixar. That's Disney animated. It's from like the world. It says from the world of Cars, but it's it's not. It's basically kind of like the computer animated stuff they've done, or computer generated things they've done with like Tangled and Big Hero 6. And
yeah, but they could find a way to retheme both of those rides.
Sure, they could
into something Pixar, and then really all you have left is like Goofy's Fly School,
which is.
I mean, I can't see them retheming Little Mermaid. They just put that thing in a couple years ago, and it's a fantastic ride. It's well loved. So that's a little bit difficult in that regard.
They already have, they have the Finding Nemo submarine, so that's over at Disneyland. So
yeah, because at Disney World, the Finding Nemo is a dark ride. So.
But
I guess they could swap them. They could take Finding Nemo, put it over there, and then turn the submarines into a Little Mermaid.
Good.
If they can't rebrand a ride, they'll make a new movie and then rebrand it.
Oh.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Grizzly Rapids, the movie?
Grizzly Rapids, the movie. Oh, we've got Tyrus checking in. I kind of like all of the remodels. My favorite ride changed from Cali Screamin' to Incredibles. And
the Incredicoaster is probably I that is a full story. That's like a full story roller coaster.
What is full story roller coaster?
Like it, there's like
Oh, it
it
tells
had
the story.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a full story. You know, from beginning to end. It gives you a full story
Yeah,
on
and
a
and
in a
they're
roller coaster form. I haven't really seen that before.
and Disney's doing that more and more now, with the Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot.
Yeah.
That one is obviously telling a story in the ride.
I mean,
Um,
then that's what one of the things with whatchamacallit with Guardians, the Guardians ride at Operation Breakout. I was like, what's the name of that ride? That's also a very good incorporation type
that's what
ride
I
as well.
just said.
No,
You
you said
okay?
the Guardian. No, you said the Guardians of the Galaxy ride
Oh,
at Epcot.
you're referring to Mission. Okay, you're talking about
I'm talking
Tower
about
of
Mission
Terror.
Breakout. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
I
is
think that was a terrible choice. I get it, and I love the ride. Don't get me wrong, but I still love the Tower of Terror.
yeah, I did
Uh,
too. But I guess they got tired of paying they got tired of paying CBS for it.
Paid that Twilight Zone money.
I mean, they still have the one. They still have the one, which I think is a better version of it in California, or not California Adventure, at Disney Studios in Orlando. But
I agree. The one there is as Tower of Terror is significantly better.
yeah,
Anyways, back to this that we have on the screen. So it'll be a multiversity adventure as you can with the Avengers, as you can see in the image. Multiple Spider-Men, multiple Iron Men, um, all different versions of the Hulk, multiple Captain Americas. So it's I, I'm interested, absolutely.
yeah.
I'd like to know a little bit more of what the ride mechanic's going to be like. Oh, you know what that ride also looks like? Kind of what they're using over at Rise of Resistance.
Oh yeah, yo, live the walkthrough ride as well as the ride itself, the cars, the vehicles themselves.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I'm definitely more interested in this than I was about the going to Wakanda and fighting alongside there. This gets me a little bit more hyped up, and so we'll have to see. Um, Daredevil has come to stay. Can't wait to see him walking around. Well, he hasn't technically been introduced as Daredevil yet, but I think, and we'll talk about She-Hulk a little bit later, but
yeah.
he's coming.
Oh yeah. They've been saying that he's coming anyway. So.
Yeah, he was in the trailer, so it's
Well,
we
and they also I thought Kevin Feige made talked about Daredevil Reborn at D23.
yes,
Yeah.
but he's going to be a She-Hulk, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So we'll get him sooner than later.
Of course.
So, James, I want to talk about something that was dropped in the news today that's a little bit different than some of the stuff we normally talk about. But
Mhm.
I think it's important that we talk about this because uh, one of you've heard of the genre true crime,
Of
right?
course. Yeah.
And the whole podcast concept blew up due to a true crime podcast.
Right.
And the name of that show is Serial.
Now I remember why I remember listening to this because it popped up on my Pandora account years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I started listening to it and I kind of got caught into it. I'm not sure I actually finished it, but like I said, I think I do remember listening to a good portion of it.
So I believe this came out around 2014, 2015, because I know that I listened to it pretty much all the way through in 2015 when my wife and I went to Disneyland. Uh, she had already been listening to it, loved it, and so for the drive down and back, we were listening to it. And so the premise behind Serial is that it's a true crime podcast that revolved around the murder of this young girl, Heyman Lee. by supposedly her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, Adnan Syed. And in Serial, basically the host of the show takes this murder case and breaks it down because it had been presented to her, saying, look at all the holes in this case, the
Yeah.
gaps, so on and
There
so
was
forth.
there was a lot of problems, and not a lot of problems, but a good enough number of problems where I don't think he should have been. You know.
So I believe, and I can't remember. Somebody will probably scold me, but I believe the host of Serial, her name is Sarah Koenig, and she interviewed Adnan over the phone, talked to him about why he's claims he's innocent.
Hmm.
Um, she interviewed countless people that were in and around this case, and this case happened in the early 2000s,
Hmm.
and in Maryland,
Yep.
and ultimately the end of the season of Serial didn't she never the host never definitively said what she thought. She kind of just left it up to you as the listener to make a decision for yourself. And I can tell you, having listened to it, that I I wasn't convinced that he was necessarily innocent, but I also didn't feel that the case was necessarily strong enough to have convicted him.
Right.
There was just too many circumstantial things, too many holes in the story, that it didn't really add up. And this
Right.
was, and in all frankness, Adnan Syed is a Muslim gentleman, and this was just post 9/11.
Yeah, and
And
that's what it was. It was like I was thinking when I remember when I was listening to it, I was like, "This is brown male problems."
to an extent, I don't necessarily think that would be an incorrect statement. So,
And especially in this case, I mean, like you said, post 9/11, it was it was kind of done.
yeah. So Serial was such a huge cultural phenomenon, so to speak, that HBO decided to capitalize on this. And they did a 4-part documentary series called The Case Against Adnan Syed. And uh, I remember watching this. It came out a couple of years ago. And they interviewed a lot of people, and they actually were able to interview some people that weren't willing to be involved with Serial.
Mm.
And there was a lot of new information that came out of this that was presented as potential evidence to this case. That there were people that were willing to sign affidavits and things of that nature. Um, and it was, again, it kind of reignited the fields, if you will, for this case, to the point where Adnan had been appealing his case as much as he could along the way,
Hmm.
but ultimately he's been in prison for basically 20 years.
Yeah.
um, all of that to say, until today,
Right.
Adnan Syed was released from custody upon his own recognizance, and he basically, the state of Maryland and its prosecutors uh, decided to vacate his sentence based on all of the information and findings that have come out between Serial and the case against Adnan Syed and other things that have happened. Now he's not free and clear by
No.
any means. They have come back to the table to start or reinvestigating a lot of things. They have new leads, they have new information, and that it's entirely possible he could get retried again at some point. But it doesn't sound like that's probably the direction that's going to go. It probably sounds like there's someone else that they are going to be pursuing.
Yeah.
So,
Possibly
entire
two other people.
yes. So it is entirely possible that this man has spent the last basically 20 years in prison for something he never did.
Yeah. No. That's I mean, that's a crime in itself. I mean, Like that's horrible because this is, it's happened to a lot. I mean, it's happened to a lot of people, sadly to say. There's been people who have been in jail under the false pretenses that they were the ones that were happened to be there, and because they have a history, they're thrown in, or just like some weird circumstances that's and so they there's just one little hole that they didn't cross off, and that's how they are able to get out. And it's just like, it's sad. It's absolutely sad.
Yes, and our dam agrees. All too commonly sad.
Yeah.
And Tyrus asked the question, well, wouldn't he fall under double jeopardy? Well, no, double jeopardy means you cannot be tried for the same crime unless new and compelling evidence is presented.
Right.
So he could be retried if they have new and compelling evidence. So no, he could not be retried.
If he was found innocent, they couldn't retry him on the same charges,
correct,
right?
Correct, but he was found guilty.
But he's found guilty, yeah.
So, it's just the sentence has been vacated. So it's not saying you are innocent. We screwed up. It's saying, based on what we know today, maybe if a jury had this information today, they might not have.
Yeah, if they had this information then that they have today, maybe it'd have been a little different. So yeah.
Yeah. So
and I mean, in the story, it was talking about his lawyer at the time, who actually passed away back in 2004, I believe it said.
But she failed him.
She did not do him any justice. I remember they talked about that in Serial.
Yes,
they talked about how like she kind of screwed him over in a way.
Yeah, I don't like to necessarily talk ill of the dead, but she should not have been allowed to be on the bench. Yeah. So, I don't want to say obviously.
And that story, not that story itself, but that pod actually continued, right? And it went on. She went on to do a couple other cases too.
Yeah, there have been multiple other seasons of Serial. I just know none of them were anywhere close to as successful as the first season.
Sometimes.
Yeah, definitely not a one-hit wonder, but to an extent,
lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, which is something I think we have with the project we're working on.
Yeah,
but ultimately, it's not a happy ending to the situation, because there is still a girl out there that
a young
was
lady
murdered.
and this guy who maybe didn't have anything to do with it spent the last 20 years of his life in custody.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, potentially a new start for Ednon, to go out and live life. I can't imagine that he won't bring about a lawsuit against the state of Maryland or the different prosecutors.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe like sometimes. I mean, I remember hearing a story about a guy who he had no ill will, so he didn't even really bring about a case against it. So I was like, yo, I would have, but but hey, if you're good with, I think he maybe got a little bit of some sort of settlement from the state itself, because they were like, yikes, our bad type deal, but he didn't actually bring a case about. But yeah, it's sad, man.
Yeah, it really is. So
I'm glad he's at least out and able to kind of live, reclaim some sort of life.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It seemed that the brother of Heyman Lee, who was able to call in for the proceedings today into the courthouse, he was very disappointed with the state because they did not notify the family that this was happening.
Oh.
The family was not given really an opportunity to fly out there to, because the family seems to have gone back and forth over the years between believing he was guilty and, I think, to recent days thinking, okay, maybe this is the wrong guy. So, the brother, I don't know if you read the story, but the brother did call in and had the opportunity to speak for a couple of minutes, and basically said that he trusts the judge to dole out justice as appropriate, but that he was in essence disappointed with the prosecutors. And Michael says, even if he is found completely innocent and gets a bunch of money, the mental toll will take years to recover and may not ever be reached. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
So,
when you're confined in a cell for most of a day, and then you get out just for a little while to sometimes not even to eat. Sometimes you just get the food brought to your cell, but at least if you're at like a cafeteria setting or an outdoor area, I mean that's only a couple hours a day as well. So I mean it's never the same.
Well, and I think one of the amazing things about the situation is that if it had not been for Serial, his case would have never gotten any traction.
Yeah, and like I must say, like there's the a group that has done a lot of stuff as far as getting people cases retried and stuff like that. The Innocence Project, they worked with this as well.
Yep.
But yeah, like they do a lot of good work. That group, they do a lot of good work to help people who have been in some cases, yes, very much wrongly accused or get at least get sentences reduced for crimes that who have these long sentences that for crimes that don't really deserve it. The crime doesn't really match the punishment.
Yeah. Or especially those that don't get me wrong, I do believe people should be held accountable. If you committed a crime, if you did something illegal that maybe isn't illegal today, pot for example,
right.
I don't necessarily think that you should get just completely let off the hook, but I also think that maybe it shouldn't have to stay on your record. It should be able to be expunged pretty easily.
Yeah,
because it's not illegal anymore in a lot of places.
In a lot of places, in some places it still is, yes, but
yeah.
But in a lot of places it isn't. And that's kind of the problem too, is that like these guys who were in the game, quote unquote, in the game before it was legal, now can't get in it when it's legal. So it's kind of a double-edged blade, because you like.
Yes, and earlier in this episode we were talking about how great James's grammar and diction was. So thank you.
Every once in a while, like I said, sometimes it just doesn't come out the way I need it to.
Corey DeTyrus, Curb Your Enthusiasm on HBO actually saved a guy from prison for a crime he didn't commit.
What? Really?
Okay. Don't know the show, but okay. And Scott checking in from Secrets of Heritage House and Radio Story Hour. He's heard that James's math is top notch.
Shut up.
Yes, it is James, your math is, well, let's just share with everyone.
Nope. A huge amount of it's so you have to be, of course, be 21 to buy it. It's 5% alcohol by volume, but at the same time, it's also only 12-ounce can. So I mean, 5 ounces inside a 12-ounce can, not too bad. Hey,
so 5 ounces is the same as 5%.
Whatever.
So
we already went over that earlier in the show. Since
we've switched gears a little bit, we're gonna talk about, and yes, Scott, thank you for spoiling. Scott says you're gonna do a restaurant review. Yes, we are. Drunk math is James' regular math.
I don't even know what that is.
Man. Great. So James, over the weekend, my family, we decided to go over to Shields, which, for those of you that don't know what Shields is, it's a giant mega sports.
It's basically like if a Bass Pro Shop had took a lot of steroids.
Yeah, and they have everything. I mean, they've got a whole toy section now where they're selling like tons of Legos and action figures.
Oh yeah, I do remember some of that. I don't remember the action figures and stuff. I do remember they did have Legos in there,
Yeah,
but yeah, they got hunting, boating, like I
fishing,
weights,
sports
like
memorabilia.
yeah, shoe. They have like a whole shoe store in there, basically.
Yeah. And so Shields is located at Legends, which is
Legend.
which is a complex in Sparks, Nevada, where there's lots of shopping and food, and
Basically, an outdoor mega mall.
I wouldn't call it
Not a
quite a
mega
mega
mall,
mall,
but
but
it's a strip mall outdoor. It's nice.
it's a little bit nicer than the strip mall.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
It is an outdoor open air mall, and uh, recently opening at Legends is the Legends Bay Casino.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, which is you can see here. This is an artist rendering of what it would look like, and here's what it really looks like.
Kind of close.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have the cool imagery or the lights and stuff around the actual bottom half of the Legends Bay Casino sign, but it's pretty close. So we decided to park at Legends Bay. There was open parking right down here in front, so I was like, "Cool, let's swoop that up." And you can see Shields in the background here.
Yeah.
If you're watching with us, if you're listening, I apologize. And I told my wife to, take my kid over to Shields. I wanted to walk through the casino because I just wanted to see kind of what the feel was and everything. Go ahead.
Time out. Is that a hotel too?
No, but there is a hotel being built right next door.
Jeez, that hotel's been like in the works forever too.
Yes, but the Legends Bay Casino itself is just casino, restaurant, sports book, blah blah
Okay.
blah. So I walked through, to check out the casino, and right as you walk in through this main entrance, to your right, there's what they call the food truck area. So they've got like 3 food trucks set up with different food in each type. And it's kind of, I get what they're going for. It's kind of fun. And then you go a little bit further back, and you've got another restaurant. You go a little bit further back, and you got Duke's Steakhouse. Then you've got the sports book, and then you're basically come out the other side of the casino over by Shields.
Okay.
Pretty nice. Obviously, very new. I think it just opened maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh. Right.
Already smells of smoke though, so there's that.
That doesn't take long at all
No.
to get into everything.
Yeah. So we went to Shields. We walked around. We did the Ferris wheel. Yes, that's right, folks. There is a Ferris wheel inside of that building.
Yes, there is.
A full size Ferris wheel, not like a mini Ferris wheel.
No, it's the whole thing.
Yeah. So we did the Ferris wheel. We walked around, looked to possibly buy some stuff, and ultimately we were going to come back because I had callbacks on Sunday. And but I was like, well, let's stop and get some food real quick. Let's try the grill at the Legends Bay Casino, because it's new, and I would want to give it a shot, see if it's any good. So for those of you watching, you can see there's the LB Grill, Legends Bay Grill, and this is the entrance to the restaurant. You walk in, and right away there's booths and tables, and they decided to seat us right in front, at basically the second booth back. So got to be nice and close to the smoke for one.
Yes.
But additionally, so when I went to stand in line, there was one group ahead of me to get seated.
Mm-hmm.
Bear in mind, the restaurant was not full. It actually almost looked like this. There was one big group that was directly behind this LB Grill sign.
Mm-hmm.
It was maybe an 8 people sitting at a table.
Right.
And needless to say, it took us almost 15 minutes to get sat. And we didn't get sat until a server, who I think probably was just coming on to start his shift, came up to the podium, because there was nobody at the podium. Nobody had come up to even like greet us or anything.
Yikes.
So the server comes up, asks us how many in our party, so on and so forth, grabs some menus, takes us to the table, we sit down. And I'm a big guy. you're a big guy. You're not as big as me, but you're a big guy.
Yeah.
The tables with the booth tables are so tight. Like I'm literally, my stomach is almost sitting on the table. Again, I'm a big guy. I own that. I admit that. That's why I'm fat. I'm
Come
fat and
on,
black.
they know, like, there are I don't, never mind, because when they make booths, it's like, come on, people aren't as small as they used to be in general. They're, you got to make the seating comfortable for people. Like, why do they
Or
continue to do this?
just be smart and observe your
You're
customers.
who you're with. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably was like, I'll give him a booth because I know they probably like a booth, but come on.
If I had known the booth was going to be, he didn't give me the option, but if I had known the booths were going to be like that, I would have wanted a table.
Yeah.
So anyways, we get sat right away. He's like, what do you guys want to drink? Let me get you some drinks. He goes and gets them, comes right back, takes our order. Cool. Everything, is feeling great. It's, 11:15-ish. I'm like, okay, food will be here by 11:30. That'll give me about, 20 minutes to eat. And if we have to, I'll box up the rest and head home before callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So 11:30 comes and goes. Still no food.
Oh, wow.
11:40 comes and goes. Still no food. Finally, the server decides to come by. He's refilled my drink once in this entire time. Finally comes by to refill my drink the second time. And I'm like, hey, can we just get our food to go at this point? This is a little ridiculous. Okay, sure. Yeah, sure. And he goes and gets me a refill. He comes back. He's like, your guys' ticket is next. And it's like, wait, what?
What?
And I didn't tell you what we were getting. So you, having worked in the restaurant industry, know how long this should approximately take. My wife and kid were sharing mac and cheese. And I was having fettuccine Alfredo with grilled chicken. How long should that take, approximately?
And this is being generous, being super generous, 15 minutes.
And that's food on the table within 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll agree with that. That would be on the long side, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's being super generous.
Yeah. 40 minutes for the food to come. And the kicker for me was, the server.
Don't tell me it was cold, bro.
Oh, no. It wasn't cold. It wasn't good. But the food finally comes. He brings it in the boxes. He separated the bread. So each of the dishes came with bread. He separated the bread, put it in a different box. Great job. A lot of servers don't do that. They'll
Right.
put it all together, and that's taboo. You don't do that. But when he brought me the bill, my order was $3 more than the menu price. And I said, I'm not going to pay this. It was $17.99 in your menu, but you're trying to charge me $20. So $2 more, $2.01. And he's like, are you sure about that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure about that. So he goes, talks to the manager, gets it adjusted. I'm like, any good manager at that point should have already, but at that point, for sure,
should have come to the table.
Didn't happen. So I paid. I gave him a tip because I know that the food isn't his fault. And we'll talk about it more in a couple of minutes, but I know that the food itself is not necessarily his fault. But as I got up and started to walk towards the exit to leave, the manager happened to come alongside me, didn't acknowledge me. And I looked at her and I said, are you the manager? And she said, yes. And I said, well, I got to let you know, I will never come back here again. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And I said, I don't think you are. I waited 40 minutes to get some pasta, which I used to run restaurants, should take anywhere between 6 to 9 minutes. So for me to wait 40 minutes to get this food is completely unacceptable. You've never once came by my table to say anything.
Right.
And when you had to adjust my ticket because you tried to overcharge me, you still didn't come over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really sorry.
No.
And I looked at her and said, I don't think you are. Have a good day. And I left.
Yeah.
So all of this to say, anyone that is out there listening, watching this, considering going to eat at the LB Grill at the new Legends Bay Casino at Legends in Sparks, probably think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And my wife is checking in. He served salad with no roll ups. We had to ask for roll ups.
What? Oh my god. Okay, first off, where was the host of the situation? But okay, Mark. Now, was this worse than the Ariel's Grotto incident, or like?
No, I don't think it's necessarily worse than the Ariel's Grotto moment that we had, and that's a story we'll share at some point. Um, it just it was because I've never had such bad service from an overall perspective. The server I don't think was absolutely terrible. I don't think the server did a good job because he didn't go to his manager and say, "Hey, this table's been waiting over 15 minutes for their food. What's going on in the kitchen?" Like any good server that's worth their salt should have done that.
Oh, Brian, roll-ups are the silverware. That's so if you have never worked in a restaurant, roll-ups is the fork and knife that you
Yes.
get.
And my wife is now ranting. So she goes
Oh,
on to say, and the food wasn't good. It was still hot when we got home, but the mac and cheese was curdled and separated, and our kid wouldn't eat it. My kid
yikes.
wouldn't eat mac and cheese.
Yikes.
That's
That's like a child staple food right there.
yeah. And so I proceeded to eat my fettuccine alfredo during callbacks, but it was just meh. It wasn't bad, but it definitely was not worth 17.99. And the mac and cheese, which I believe was about $15, clearly was not worth it. Um, and
Yikes.
and Scott says that explains her crying all last night. Well, you might be right, and she might be reliving it tonight. So
Oh boy.
Tyra says, I'd give it another shot in about a year. Strike wasn't a great opening when we were there. Eh,
Probably not
I,
that bad though.
yeah, I mean, we had some hiccups, but there's also a difference between a bowling alley and a casino restaurant,
Yeah,
uh,
like the
and and
casino restaurant
especially
should have already been.
and especially a casino that's trying to present itself as like the new high end casino.
Yeah.
Um, so I think they've got a lot of work to do. I will not go back. Um, if they called me and they were like, "Hey, we acknowledge that we made a mistake and we want you to come give us another shot. Here's a gift certificate." I don't even know if I would do it then. I might just because there's too many other options. Uh,
True that.
why would I want to potentially give my money to a place that I know I had bad service when I could go somewhere that I know I'll have good service?
Well, if they give you a gift certificate that'll cover like a meal, like your entire like meal with like however many people you have, then yes.
Yes, and my wife does point out the fact that she had to look around in the backpack to find snacks for our kid because it took so long.
Sheesh.
Part of me wanted to just let my kid go fly off the handle.
Yeah, but we can't have that.
Yeah.
We
So
are we are in public, people.
so ultimately, anybody who is considering going to check out Legends Bay LB Grill,
Give it a
no,
while.
don't. Not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Uh, and Tyre says, "Wow, knowing our background in service, that's really bad."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's where Scott's going to tune out because we're going to spend the next couple of minutes talking about She-Hulk.
Bye, Scott.
Thanks for checking in. It's been a pleasure. We enjoy having you around, but we understand that you're not a fan.
Yeah.
Uh, when we do decide to talk about Star Trek, I'll make sure to give you the line in on that one.
Yeah, right.
So this is episode 5 of She-Hulk. We're about halfway over, just around the halfway point of the season, a little over halfway. Um, I've poor Scott. So I've really enjoyed the series.
Yeah.
I think it has been fresh. It has been unique to the other Marvel Disney Plus shows, and it continues to just be enjoyable. Going into this episode, Jamila Jamil is fantastic. See you around,
Oh,
Scott, in the role of Titania,
yeah.
and just continues. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything that I didn't like her in. So I'm I'm disappointed that I think she's kind of going to be wasted on this show, because I feel like she probably could have been something more within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But
Well, I mean, they might. We'll see how it ends, because I mean, they very well could make her bigger.
potentially.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the episode? I'll let you walk us through a little brief synopsis. And
It was it threw me at first, because I was like, "Yo, what?" Because like the opening of it is about this whole beauty line called She-Hulk, and by Titania. And the opening, which has been She-Hulk attorney at law, changed to She-Hulk by Titania, and it turned pink and stuff like that, which was like, okay, we're gonna see where this goes. But basically, just a short and sweet of it, Jen is now trying to get her She-Hulk name back, because she's being sued by Titania, which is she gets served at the end of episode 4. And so now she's trying to get her name back as She-Hulk. And she kind of has to shoot herself in the foot in order to get that name back.
yeah, that's, I guess, the long and short of it.
Yeah. Oh, and her assistant Nikki, is that it? Nikki?
That sounds correct.
Yes. Actually helps her get a new suit too, because that suit is one she's had for the entire episode.
Yes, and
or entire series, I should say, not episode.
and she does help out Pug with some things he needs.
Yeah.
But Pug in turn helps her. Again, Titania, look and fly.
I'm actually glad they used her, because we talked about this before. I can't remember her name in the series right now, but I do remember that you mentioned when she came in, it was like, oh no, I'm not touching that, and like walks out. You were like, that was kind of a waste of a moment, but
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they gave her a good portion of this episode, which is nice.
Yeah, and I absolutely loved the Taylor character. I thought that was fantastic, very enjoyable, and especially considering at the very end of the episode, and we didn't get a post episode.
No, I was kind of waiting for it.
Yeah, that was a little surprising that we didn't get a post episode anything.
You know why? I think it's because what they dropped at the end of the episode was money.
Yeah, I mean, so for those of you that didn't watch the episode, right at the very end, we see Captain America. I'm sorry, not Captain America. We see Daredevil's new helmet in a box.
It's the I don't remember which iteration of Daredevil it was, but it's not the red; it's the yellow.
Yes.
And also, I'm thinking that he gave her the suit that she's like She-Hulk is famous for, because she's like, I'm never gonna have to wear this or whatever. I don't see a time when I'd ever have to wear this. And he's like, just take it.
Yeah. And huge Easter eggs in this episode during the credits. And James said he didn't see it, so I'm going to pull the image up. This is one of the pieces of art in the credits, and there are tons of sneakers. Presumably, this is Pug's closet at home, and he's showing off his new Iron Man shoes.
Hold on.
So we're going to call off some of these shoes, because a lot of these shoes are characters that have not been introduced into the MCU. You can very clearly see, for example, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man.
I'm assuming those ones next
the
to
Falcon,
that
like classic Falcon. Yes, Black Panther down here.
Yeah.
But some of the other ones that are in this, Deadpool, Cyclops.
Was that Colossus?
Wolverine. The Thing. So there's
are those supposed to be like Colossus right next to the Thing?
These ones?
Yeah, those look like that's what it kind of looks like, at least from.
Perhaps, not quite sure. We also have over here clearly Namor.
Oh yeah, it looks like.
This is classic Quicksilver.
And then the one up, oh, you got the Hawkeye ones up top on that top shelf back there, and
Hmm.
what looks right underneath those look like something like Doom.
Mm. You've got Green Goblin down here. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
ultimately, all of this to say that I don't understand this drop. Why they would just put these in here like this.
Nah, there's a
Um,
reason.
well, of course there has to be, but it also, from a timeline perspective, is a little concerning because how do these characters exist unless we're going to find out that She-Hulk? No, because that doesn't even work. The
Mm,
only thing I can think is that they're going to say that all these characters have been around. We just haven't been
seen them?
introduced to them.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it, but at the same time, it makes it kind of hard because I don't know, or maybe there's stories about these characters, and so they may choose based on them. I don't know. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a stretch. That's a super stretch.
yeah. But ultimately, I thought you would enjoy seeing that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, because I mean I saw it and I saw like like I said, I saw the Iron Man ones, of course, that he's holding, and then I saw like I remember seeing the Captain America ones, but it kind of went by quickly. So
Yeah, and one last thing I want to make sure I tag out there is the fact that our cruise that is coming up in just a few months, April of next year. Maybe Brian's going to tune out now, but our cruise that's coming up next year in April. We just got a new sign up today, so the group is still continuing to grow.
oh snap.
Yeah, so it's good news. So you can still sign up. You can still get the group discounts and the group perks. So if you are interested in going on a cruise to Alaska next April,
This guy.
hit us up. We'll invite you to the private group we have on Facebook. We'll get you all the deets. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We've got over 50 people, I think, at this point. So
Nice. Nice.
yes, and of course, Brian is not ecstatic about that.
Brian should be going on this cruise.
Only thing stopping him is him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not really just him, but
I
he could
mean,
be like,
he ain't
no,
married.
we doing this.
He ain't married yet.
Hmm?
Word of warning: it's warming than you think it will be. I'm assuming that's in regards to Alaska.
Oh,
Uh, it was in the 80s when we went in early May. Interesting.
oh, wow.
That could definitely be interesting. I mean, that's not a problem for me. I wouldn't. I don't know. I would like it to be a little bit colder than that, but
Yikes.
I'm sure for you who like to keep it tropical, um, in the 80s probably wouldn't be a terrible thing.
No.
I'm sure you're not looking forward to potentially extremely cold temperatures.
No, I'm not. But hey, I got jackets.
Indeed, indeed. Well, James, I don't got much else to talk about. You got anything on your mind that you want to share?
Nah, man. Just so you guys know that we will be on Mondays for at least the next few weeks. I apologize. It's been my schedule has been kind of wonky with training and after my academy and all that kind of stuff going for as far for work. So I do apologize, but we still gonna be here. And but we'll keep you informed. Hopefully we will be back. I say hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be back on our normal Wednesdays here in the next few weeks. Hopefully.
Yeah, I won't hold my breath in that regard, but
Don't hold your breath because like I said, I'm hoping that that's what I signed up for. That's why I took the days off that I did so that we can make sure that we had we could keep on our schedule. But we'll see, guys.
Well, for those of you that have been watching and enjoying, we ask that you like, subscribe, all of that kind of fun stuff. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. We're out there. Instagram. Hit us up.
Oh, day.
We go live at least once a week, sometimes more,
Yeah.
and talk about lots of fun different topics. So
Oh. And if you like it, tell your friends. If you don't tell your
tell them.
friends.
All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna shut us down.